Look right there. See that little line right there? That's liquid. There's liquid in there. That's definitely coolant. Out of this thing over here. Look at that. Yep. See it right out in the back. It blew a hole out of the back of that fitting. Dang, that's pretty gnarly. See, I think this thing might actually be dead. It looks like it started leaking out the coolant right there. It ran dry on coolant, then it overheated until she shut down. I believe that's what may have occurred here. Hello everybody, good day to you. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, just welcome. Word of caution on this video, we're gonna do something slightly different with this van right here. This thing came in on the tow truck last week and it had suffered from a massive coolant leak on the highway, and the engine overheated to a level of self-destruction. It unalived itself and removed itself from this world. The number 4 cylinder, which is the one in the front of the engine here, has been filling up with coolant due to the overheat. I speculate that the head has warped a little bit and it blew a head gasket or cracked the cylinder head, and it is it's filling up full of coolant and the vehicle is undrivable. It is not operable, and basically, long story short, it needs a replacement engine. Like the thing got cooked. It became super hot at 152,367 miles on the odometer. Now I've got the number 4 spark plug already out of it, so when we start this thing up, it's going to chooch like a freight train. It's going to make a whole lot of noise. That's just the sound of a dying engine that needs to come out of the vehicle. What had happened is the customers that own this vehicle decided they did not want to put any extra money into it because it is well, frankly, it's about a $6,000 job to put a used engine in these vans. Let's see if this thing's gonna start. Yep, she came alive. Okay. Yeah, you hear that chugga chugga chug? That's because I do not have a spark plug in number 4. So one of the many problems on this van, and I think one of the issues that killed this van, is it's got a faulty TIPM module. And now that's called that stands for Totally Integrated Power Module. Basically, it's a fancy name for a fuse box. I believe it's got a printed circuit board in there. There might be a microcontroller in the fuse panel, and that is designed to operate all of the relays. Yeah, we see right here, ABS light just came on, TPMS light, track light, check engine light, brake warning light. So there are many systems on this vehicle that are malfunctioning due to that faulty TIPM. I haven't diagnosed it as a faulty TIPM, but it's been to the dealer once before, and they had diagnosed that as the cause of the concern. Now, because of that, when the overheat light came on and when the gauge pegged, the folks that drive the car didn't really, let me shut this down. Key gravity. Yeah, so because of all those warning lights, I believe that when the overheat messages came on, they just chalked that up as part of the vehicle's faulty electrical issues, and they really didn't pay it any mind, which ultimately again led to the downfall and the demise of this 3.6 liter Pentastar V6 in this Chrysler van. Considering that the owner of the vehicle did not want to put that kind of money in there, we were basically just going to send this thing off to the salvage yard and have it recycled and turned into soda pop cans. Now, I had realized that this was a very unfortunate situation, and I knew the folks that own this. They've got several children. They have enough kids where their other van is like a full-size Nissan NV van, like almost like a conversion van or like a camper van. So this is the small compact size of the child people mover, and like I said, they've got a larger one. That being said, I was sympathetic to the situation, and so to expedite and streamline the process of retiring this old Chrysler, I offered to buy the van from them, which I did. However, I didn't want to pay them just scrap metal prices, which is what you would receive if I were to turn this thing into one of the recycling yards. I think they would have offered about $350 or $400. At that point, I gave Eric a call, who runs the I Do Cars YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to his channel in this description on this video down below. So I called up Eric because Eric is a car buyer. He buys dozens of cars a month, brings them back to his salvage yard. They strip them down, they part them out, and then they recycle and scrap out the rest of it. So I called up Eric and I said, Eric, you know, I've got a hold of this, I think it's a 2013 or 2011 Town & Country. I said, it's got a Pentastar. The thing's blown up, and I would like to know what's a fair purchase value for this car. It's not in horrible shape, it's got good tires on it, it does have some problems, and it needs an engine. And he said the same thing I had suspected, that the salvage yards are going to want to probably pay $350 to $400, and then you're gonna have to get it towed, which puts us down in the $250 mark. And full transparency, I purchased this van for $800 from the owner. I've got the title in the office and I gave him cash money, and so this is actually now my van. But we're going to undo that a little bit. Reason being is, after that first conversation with Eric, and once I figured out a good price and once I bought the van, we were discussing what should be done about the van. And the options were, I could blow this engine up even more and we can make a cool video about a Pentastar exploding. I could, and then just scrap the rest of it and part it out. Or I could buy a used engine, put an engine in it, fix the van, get it back to shape, and then I could have just put it out front and resold the thing. And then Eric goes, hey, why don't you just fix it and just donate the thing to somebody who needs it? Now, throughout the process of purchasing this van, I learned that Kristen, Greg's wife, the fellas, or the couple that owns this van, I learned that Kristen has been going through some cancer treatment. There's a couple medical issues going on. And I realized at that point that the family that needed this van is the family that owned this van. And so rather than going with option 3, which was buying an engine and then giving this or selling it to somebody who needs it, Eric and I decided that, again, the people that owned it, or that do own it, they're the ones that need it. So Eric went through his inventory and he found out that he has a 3.6 Pentastar short block that has a bad cylinder head. It's got like a pitted valve or a leaking valve on it or something like that. And he's also got a set of good cylinder heads. So Eric from I Do Cars YouTube channel is going to collect an engine, collect cylinder heads, put them together, and he's gonna send me an engine for this van. When the engine arrives, we're gonna pull this one out. We're gonna replace it with the newly refurbished engine. I'm going to fix a few of the other issues on this van, and we're going to give this thing back to Greg and Kristen at no charge. We're going to donate our resources, and we're going to use our positions that our businesses have put us in to actually make a difference in somebody's world. And that is that's the project we have at hand here today. What I intend to do with this van today is we're going to give it a good look over, and I'm going to evaluate everything that's wrong with it, including that TIPM module, because we don't want to give this thing back to them with a litany of problems. We're going to fix it up. We're going to solve this issue for this family, and we're going to get them the leg up that we kind of think that they deserve to have right now, because again, these folks are going through some serious stuff. And if we can lessen their load and lighten the burden that life has handed to them today, then that is going to be a win-win for everybody else. So I Do Cars and Rayman Ray's Repairs are now entering into a collaboration to get this van fixed up. Again, we're not receiving money for this. We're going to donate all of the parts, the time, the effort, the fluids, the labor, the energy, etc. Because again, Eric and I feel that that's the best way to go about this, considering all other options. We don't want to be wasteful. I don't want to just destroy the thing. I don't want to leave them in a position where they have to go out and finance another vehicle, and because that would just put you into debt. And the way interest rates are today, and the way the economy is working with tight money, that's going to put these folks in a position that I would not want them to be in, because like I said, they've got enough going on. So we're here to solve some problems. That's the nature of my business. This is what we do. and this is the project we're about to take on. Now, down inside of this video's comment section, there's going to be a load of links that are going to relate and take you to different aspects of what's going on here. The first of which, again, is going to be the intro video to this van when I diagnosed the blown up engine. So if you would like to go back and check that out, that's going to be the first link. And the second link is going to run you guys over to the I Do Cars YouTube channel, where you can see the videos that Eric is going to post on the progression of his engine build. I don't think he has released or finished the footage on repairing his current stock engine on this, but it will be there at some point. So let's move this thing forward a little bit. I want to get it on the rack, and we're going to start the inspection to find out what else this thing is going to need in order to get this unit back to life. Now, while I get this thing set up on the rack and prepared to do a more extensive evaluation on the overall condition of this thing, take a moment real quick to review this short clip that Eric has sent over about the replacement 3.6 Pentastar, and I'll hand it over right now to Eric from the I Do Cars YouTube channel.
My name is Eric from the I Do Cars YouTube channel, and I also run a full-service auto recycling business where I buy slightly damaged cars and trucks and dismantle them and sell the parts that are good and recycle the rest. And part of our model includes dismantling blown up and core engines to salvage the good parts and recycle the rest. And sometimes I end up with stuff that's not so bad on my shelves. Ray and I were talking one night on the phone, and he starts talking to me about this van. Hey, what's this van worth? What should I do with it? What's a good plan for it? And I'm in the salvage industry. I know what that would bring at the auction. I know what its parts value is. So we kind of talked about it, and I asked him, is it worth fixing? He said, yeah, it's probably worth fixing. So I thought about it like, you know, I have an engine for that. It's not perfect, but I can fix it. Over a year ago, I sold a good 3.6 Pentastar to a local shop, and I got the core back in that exchange. They told me this is actually not that bad of an engine. It ran great. It's got 121,000 miles on it, and the only reason they replaced it is the exhaust valve seat was pitted. It failed a leak down test, and it would miss at idle slightly. So they put an engine in it, and I understand it's a lot less labor to just slam an engine in it versus trying to fix it. But I thought it would be very wasteful to just dismantle this thing for parts. There's not a ton of value here, and it wouldn't make a crazy good video. It's not blown up that bad. So I held on to it. Ray was explaining the situation with the family that owned this van, and we kind of talked it out, and in 5 minutes, we had a plan. We had a game plan. I have an engine that's been on my shelf that I've been saving for some unknown reason, and then I realized a year and a half ago, I did a teardown on a 3.6 Pentastar that was carbon locked. The heads were great, and I saved the cylinder heads for some unknown reason. And I'm not trying to validate or vindicate any of you hoarders out there. Some stuff you should absolutely throw away. But I saved these heads, and now these cylinder heads will go to the machine shop to be cleaned and ready to go. Some new parts, and this engine will be a perfect running engine. I'll ship it down to Ray. He'll put it in the van, and together we'll fix this because we can.
Alrighty, now that we all know what's going on and what the plan is and what the backstory is, let us proceed with some thorough evaluation of this 2000, I think it's an 11 Chrysler Town & Country with a Pentastar. Moving on up. There we go, top of the rack. Let's go ahead and set her down for some safety on the locks. Locked in. So, first thing off the bat, I've already noticed, and this was one of the motivators that kind of sent me off in the direction to fix this thing. We've got a brand new set of tires on this van, all the way around, matching set. You know, we've already got some money here, and like I mentioned before, my folks with this van have put in a fairly decent amount of investment effort into maintaining this vehicle, because again, they need it in their life and it serves a critical function. And being without the ability to chauffeur all the children around and handle life's normal difficulties is going to be a problem for these folks. And like I said, we're going to fix this problem. So right off the bat, I see a broken engine mount here. We're going to add that to the list. I don't see a lot of things leaking. This is good. This looks like a very large oil leak, but since we're putting an engine in it, I'm sure we can button that oil leak up. And let's see where it's coming from back here. A hole in the side of the block, maybe. Did it blow up more? It might have blown up more. No, just a valve cover. I can see it leaking out right there at that gasket. So yeah, we'll seal up the valve covers while we're at it. Looking around, power steering lines look decent. The front axle looks decent. I actually think we put this axle in here at my shop a few months ago. That axle looks good. Let's give the front end a shake real quick, see if the anything's loose. Ball joints, tie rods, nope. Let's shake our other side here. No, maybe. Is there a control arm moving? Thought I saw some motion. That's just the rack flexing. So the front end's tight. Another fairly new axle with an oil leak dripping down from that valve cover up top. Okay, yeah, we're definitely gonna fix that. But down below, we see, moving back, there's very minimal rust. Suspension bushings look good. Axle's in good shape. Shock absorbers. It's got decent brakes on it. Yeah, it's a very clean vehicle down here. It's not a good candidate to be scrapped out at all. Yep, again, good tires, decent brakes inside right here, so this is all good. I don't see the need to do any work down below right here. So basically we just have a huge drivetrain problem, because it is a Pentastar V6 after all. So we've got a drivetrain problem going on here, and that's gonna be the fix here. We're gonna fix this engine. Let's let it down. I'm gonna go ahead and plug the scan tool into this unit, and we're gonna go through all the trouble codes that have been stored. I'm gonna document them. We're gonna go ahead and do a code clear on them real quick, because I would like to see what other codes show up in other modules other than the engine computer. There's an ABS light on, a track control light on. I think there's an airbag light on. It escapes me at the moment, but there's a few other warnings on. And again, they say that the vehicle needs a TIPM, which is, I believe that's this unit, totally integrated power module. There's a problem right there. Look at that melted fuse, all corroded. Let's check some fluids here. The brake fluid's not looking that great. Like I said, we're doing a full evaluation. I have to tell you right now, the coolant's empty, because cylinder number 4 has no spark plug in it, because cylinder number 4 back there is full of coolant, or would be if I put coolant in it. There's a dragonfly. Yeah, he can't live there, he's got to go. Okay, yeah, it looks fairly decent. There's not much horrendous destruction here other than the cylinder head on this Pentastar. Ding! Text message. Alrighty, we're back inside with the scan tool. 2011 Town & Country. Let's go ahead and pull up all of our trouble codes, and we're gonna see what direction we have to work with here, or work in, or move towards. Let's just see what's going on. Display all fitted systems. So what I'd like to do here is, oh, we went into engine, didn't we? I want to do a total vehicle code scan. Let me back out of this one more time. Code scan, there we go. Pre-scan.
Start it right up.
Okay, so we are back in the ECM, and we've got a litany of codes here just from the failure. Air intake temp sensor, that's probably because I have things unplugged. Ignition coil 4, I know that that's unplugged. Misfires, that's not a surprise. Engine oil pressure circuit, that may have set during the stalling event, so I'm not particularly concerned about oil pressure, especially since we're putting an engine in it anyway. Coolant temp sensor, yep, because it ran out of coolant. Engine oil temp sensor, because we overheated this thing until it grenaded itself. Stop skipping back to the start of the menu, please. Technology. It's like we're living in Back to the Future 2, where we have all this cool technology, but it only works like 80% of the way that it should. Moving on, we've got some codes in the TCM. Again, same thing, air intake temp. Okay, down in the TCM section of this computerizer, we have the exact same codes repeated. So the ECM feature and TCM feature are telling us the same thing. So here we go. C2200 anti-lock brake module internal. That means we have an internal fault with the ABS module. That could be responsible, or could be because of a faulty TIPM, but it could also be due to a failing ABS pump or ABS control module. And again, this is something we'll have to address later on. We've got some codes down here in the gateway module, central gateway. That is the TIPM. And the TIPM says we lost communication with the heated seat control module. All right, not a huge deal. Heated seat control module says we have some resistance codes above threshold, so I'm not really sure if the TIPM's bad or if the heated seat control module is bad, but we're not going to focus on that. We've got a code in the power liftgate module. Liftgate latch release is taking excessive time to actuate. Somewhat inconsequential. We've got some TPMS codes. Okay, some random multiple misfires, and we're just sort of repeating what we already know here. Alrighty, so now that we know kind of what all is involved here, 95% of this is engine related. We might have to put a TIPM in it, we might have to put an ABS pump in it. But what I want to do real quick is, I backed out of my menu way too far. I'm going to go ahead and do a master code reset on everything in the vehicle real fast. Reason being is, after we do the reset, we're going to key this off. When I key it back on, when all the modules wake back up, they're all going to do a self-test. And so if there's any hard faults in the system, those are going to become apparent very quickly. And then those are the trouble codes we can focus on first before all of the system monitors complete, and then other trouble codes that may or may not show up could not be, or may be irrelevant, or may be relevant. Now, the reason I want to do a master code reset is because any hard faults that are in the system, when I restart this, those hard faults will become apparent very quickly, and that'll allow me to decide what direction to focus the majority of the efforts in. And then after we solve those major problems, then we can move on to other minor problems. For example, if we do not get a TIPM code in here on the first self-check, then that's going to lead me to focus my attention more on this ABS pump rather than going after what somebody else said, which I believe was the dealership told them they needed a TIPM. And they might need it just because the heated seat module doesn't talk to it. It could have a problem, but that may not be the problem. Regardless, again, the strategy is to get everything on this van fixed up appropriately. That way, when we give it back to them, it's going to be a headache-free mode of transportation. It's going to keep them out of debt. It's going to solve their problems that they're having right now. Well, I mean, it's not going to solve all their problems, but it's going to minimize a lot of the issues that these folks are going through. It's what I can do, and it's what Eric can do, and it's what the other folks that are involved can do, just to get something good back out into the world. Okay, we are cleared. Everybody's cleared out. Master code scan reset complete. Let's drop the key again. Why do I keep doing that? Key down, third time. We're powered off. Power back on. Let's reinitiate our code scan. It's gonna again ping all the modules, and like I said, anything that is a hard fault or something that the self-check procedures pick up, those are gonna show up in the scan tool right now. Yes, we've got the intake temp sensor. I think it's unplugged. If it's not, we'll put one in. ABS brake module internal stored right there. That's lets me know we needed to put an ABS pump in it. I don't believe we saw that earlier, that internal stored, but this is saying that the ABS module is detecting either a software fault or some other type of internal issue with its printed circuit board. So we know we need an ABS module right there from the get-go.
Let's go find this 2011 Town & Country we have. Huh, what do you know, it's white too. Anything that this van Ray is working on needs, I should have on the house. If I can figure out how to open the hood. The ABS is underneath here, I think. Where are you, Abs? Oh, there it is. So that looks easy. Definitely one of those things you do with the engine out. I wonder how hard it is to pull right now.
All right, scanning back down past our ABS module, we're back at our heated seat module. This time around, it's only giving me a left front sensor or heater sensor code. And again, that's inconsequential stuff at this point. So heated seat module has an issue, and I didn't see anything else in any of the other modules. So looks like our primary issue is going to be that ABS pump. if there's no other problems with the electrical system on this, that ABS is going to solve the traction control squiggly vehicle light, and it's going to solve that ABS warning light that was on. The TPMS, we can scan the sensors later on. I'll throw sensors in it if we need to, just to get that light out. And then of course the check engine light, that will be resolved once I plug in all the sensors and put a new engine in it. So I believe with supreme confidence that we have the ability, the power, the technology, and the skills to right this wrong and give this thing back to them in a trouble-free condition so that they can move on and focus on the real problems in their life. So let's just do a quick function check on the rest of the systems. Door opens electronically. This is good. Let's see if she closes. Button works. So that's functioning as designed. Let's check our lift gate. Make sure we don't need anything back here. Okay, seats are all here. Yeah, see, this is a fairly decent and good used car. I think properly put together, it's going to be just fine. That one works just like it should. Check our button real fast. Yeah, so I don't think we have to do any body work with it. Nothing of that nature. All right, folks, well, that's the plan for the future of this van. I do believe that Eric intends on making a engine assembly video of him putting the cylinder heads on his core engine block. He's got a short block, like I said, which will be a first for Eric because Eric usually tears down blown up engines. He doesn't really put them together. So Eric's putting the engine together for this as we speak. And again, once this gets here, I'm going to get this thing up on one of the racks. We're gonna pull the entire drivetrain and suspension cradle out of it. So that's gonna be engine, transmission, axle, suspension, and the subframe that holds it all together. We're gonna pull all that stuff apart. It's gonna get refreshed on the top side. After we put the block in it, we'll get new valve cover gaskets, new oil cooler. I'll put engine mounts in it. It'll get new fluids, probably spark plugs and anything else that we need. And obviously I'm going to fix the source of this engine's demise, which was this Y-shaped little coolant elbow business back over here. We're gonna change that out and replace it with aluminum ones if they're available. That way this does not happen again. And by the time this project is finished, this thing is gonna be good as new. And I'm probably also gonna polish up that headlight because this is horrendous and this one is nice and shiny, and we like things that are nice and shiny, and that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna make this van nice and shiny. It's gonna be fully functional. I'm excited. I hope you guys are excited. Please feel free to check out the I Do Cars YouTube channel to visit Eric and see what he's doing on this project. Also, I have learned that Greg and Kristen have been sort of documenting their journey through this obstacle regarding their healthcare situation, and they've been doing such things on YouTube. So Greg has created and set up a YouTube channel in order to share their experience and their journey with you guys. I will also leave a link down to their channel below if you want to stop by and say hello and give them maybe some positive energy, just wish them the best. Their channel will be linked also down inside this video's description. So having said all that, folks, I have nothing more to offer you at this current point in time on this project we're going to take on. Please come down to the comment section, send some good vibes our way, let us know what you think about this situation, again in the comment section down below. As always, don't forget to tap that like button while you're down there. Subscribe and hit that notification bell if you would like to make sure that you do not miss any of the upcoming updates on this project. And most importantly, before I go, I'd like to remind everybody here to not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for all your support, and we will see you guys on the next one. End of day, end of video, end of Chrysler, end of Pentastar, end of transmission.